What's going on there, YouTube? Welcome back to another comic book video. Okay, so we're going to continue our coverage over, we're going to begin our coverage over the Immortal Hulk. Now, you guys have been asking me to cover this for a good while now, and I kind of felt like this is the perfect time to actually sit down and cover it. And the reason why, because the entire series has been done for 3 years now, but the latest run of the Hulk is actually a sequel to the Immortal Hulk. And so before we are able to officially dive into that sequel series, we got to cover the original Immortal Hulk, kind of get a better idea of what exactly is going on when it comes to the Green Door. Now, with all that being said, we're only covering the first 3 issues of Immortal Hulk in this video to kind of get a small taste of what the Immortal Hulk is going to be about. But with that being said, I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. Now, the opening pages for Immortal Hulk issue number 1 is basically starting off at this gas station. Now, at first, everything seems normal. You have people just parking their cars, going inside to get some things from the gas station like snacks or drinks or possibly prepay at the register. Either way, everything does seem normal. Now, we do see 3 people inside, the actual clerk, Bruce Banner, and a young girl. Now, with that being said, you then had this one guy just walk in there. Now, this one guy, he is trying to rob the place. Now, you can tell automatically that this guy has never done anything at all when it comes to robberies or possibly using a gun on somebody else, because he is completely freaking out to the point where he actually shoots a young girl on accident because she made a noise. And he didn't have Bruce Banner trying to figure out what in the world is going on here, because now he sees a young girl dead. And that guy with the gun, he shoots Bruce Banner. He's also dead now. Now, the clerk, he's freaking out because literally at gunpoint earlier, he was down with the idea of just giving all the money in his register. But the guy who has the gun, he's still freaking out because he can't believe that he just killed off 2 people, a young girl and also Bruce Banner. And so he fired his gun once again, shooting off the clerk. And so now all 3 people are officially dead. But the robber, he was able to get the money and get the heck out of there. On that night, we actually pick up with Detective Gloria Mays. Now, at first, I truly believed that Gloria Mays was going to be very important in the overall story of the Immortal Hulk. But honestly, she is not. Really, she's just here trying to figure out what exactly happened inside that gas station. Now, she was able to identify 2 of the 3 bodies, the young girl and the clerk. Of course, she was unable to figure out who the 3rd person was. It was Bruce Banner, but he had no ID on him. But she does tell us that she does recognize him from somewhere. Now, we also being introduced to a reporter, and her name is Jackie McGee. Now, when it comes to McGee, she's going to be somewhat important in the earlier parts of the Immortal Hulk. Either way, when it comes to Jackie, she's just trying her best to actually cover this story, to get the full idea of what happened here, but also how the police are going to be able to find the shooter. But now we have to jump over to the morgue. Now, when we do, we pick up with the dead body of Bruce Banner. Now, here's the thing, because Bruce Banner died back in Civil War II by the hands of Hawkeye. And really, it was Marvel just trying their best to replace the Hulk with the totally awesome Hulk, and honestly, it did not work out very well for them. But when it came to the Hulk, he was brought back to life in Avengers No Surrender, and it seemed like there was something different about him. And so as we jump over to the morgue, we kind of get that confirmation because Bruce died. He was shot and killed in that gas station, but we are slowly seeing him turn into the Hulk. But now we jump over to a character known as Tommy. Now we learn very quickly here that Tommy is actually the shooter from the gas station. But on top of that, for Tommy, the reason why he was trying to rob that gas station is because he owes money to a gang, because that gang gave him money to pay some bills for him and his family to just survive a tad bit longer. And so right now that gang, they want their money back. And so he had no choice but to go ahead and rob that gas station. Unfortunately, he was unable to get a lot of money from the gas station. But either way, we do see the gang leader telling him, like, hey, listen, I don't feel bad for you at all. Matter of fact, you still owe me a lot of money plus interest. So stop being a little scaredy cat because you shot 3 people. Get back out there and make me some more money. Now, as soon as Tommy walks out that front door, there's a loud shaking noise, kind of a small earthquake in that area. And you have everybody wondering what in the world is going on. Then out of nowhere, one by one, you have different members of the gang being taken out left and right. Now, Tommy, he's just hearing. He can't see anything because the Hulk was able to make sure the power goes out. And so for Tommy here, he's wondering what is happening to all the different gang members in this area. They're all being taken out left and right until he is literally confronted by the Hulk. And the Hulk is very angry for what Tommy did. Not to him, like, hey, you shot Bruce. Okay, cool, whatever. I hate Bruce Banner. But you shot and killed a small, innocent girl who was only 12 years old. Now, this is the Hulk just toying with Tommy, being all like, how do you feel? How does it feel holding such a powerful weapon in your hand? How does it feel using that weapon on other people? Now, for the Hulk, like I said, he's just playing with Tommy. But really, it's the Hulk getting closer and closer and plotting to do some crazy things to Tommy to get revenge for him killing off that young girl at the very beginning of this video. And so for Tommy, he realized that he's in trouble. He begins to beg for his life. He's all like, please don't kill me. I have a family. I have a wife. I have a daughter. Like, please don't kill me. But by the end of this section, because he knows the Hulk is about to do some crazy things to him, he asks the Hulk, am I really a bad guy? And you have the Hulk smile and gets like very creepy like. And he's all like, what do you think? And then it goes black. And so with all that happening overnight, you didn't have basically the police and also the news trying to catch up what happened overnight. The whole idea of the Hulk breaking out of the morgue, the whole idea of the Hulk taking down an entire game, the whole idea that the Hulk was able to break almost every single bone in the body of Tommy, but leave him alive is also huge as well. We're also kind of told that he made sure that Tommy will never be able to walk again. Like every single bone in his body was broken, but also the fact that now they know that Tommy was the shooter. But now we have to jump back over to Detective Mays. Now, when we do, we see her once again talking to Jackie McGee. And when she does, it's her telling Jackie, like, listen, I believe that the Hulk was here. Now remember, like I said, the Hulk died in Civil War II, but he did come back to life in Avengers No Surrender. But by this point, the world does not truly know that the Hulk is alive again. And so right now, you have Detective Mays telling McGee that she believes it was the Hulk. And she also believes that the superhero community is not really trying to do a cover-up. It's really more of like he has been hiding. But she does say this right here. He was dead. Bruce had died in that gas station. But the other one, the Hulk, did not die. The Hulk came out at night. And so for Detective Mays, she's saying like, listen, the Hulk is back. But the thing is, the world does not truly know the Hulk is back. And so now it seems like it's up to Jackie McGee to kind of get that story out there, to tell the whole entire world the Hulk is alive again. But maybe, just maybe, he has a new ability. And so by the ending of the first chapter, it's Bruce Banner looking into the mirror, and what he sees is the Hulk. Now we're kind of also left to believe the Hulk is no longer that savage character anymore, that the Hulk can actually think and act for himself. The Hulk has the ability to speak more intelligent than it did in the past. And so right now, things have been completely flipped on his head when it comes to the character of the Hulk. And things are only going to get a whole lot worse. But as we get into the second chapter, we actually pick up with Bruce Banner just having this nightmare. And his nightmare is actually a flashback to the first night after he was hit with the gamma bomb. And so for him, he's kind of wondering how in the world did he survive that kind of explosion? Because usually somebody like him should be dead. He should be literally dead right there, but he's not. He's alive. And so at first, he felt like he was in the walking ghost phase. Now, the walking ghost phase is really more of like you feel healthy, but in reality, you're already dead. Like you're slowly dying, and death is coming for you very, very soon. But again, this is a nightmare. And so when he does wake up from his nightmare, he realized he's still on the bus he took earlier, but now he looks over at a mountain where he sees a green light coming out of the mountain. And so he knows there's something going on in this town that he will pass by. And so when the bus does reach its next stop, he gets off the bus. Now, we also learn here that for Bruce Banner, he's on a timer when it comes to him being Bruce. And what I mean by that is, as soon as the sun goes down, that's the time for the Hulk to come out. And so for Bruce, he knows that if he wants to get stuff done, he has to do it in the daytime. And with all that being said, for Bruce Banner, we're also getting confirmation that not really a lot of people know that he's alive. Now, technically, we already learned that in the last chapter, but that's the public. I'm now talking about the idea of people who are close to Bruce Banner. They have no idea that he's alive. Like, for example, Betty Ross. Either way, for Bruce, he wants to know more about what is actually happening in this town. What was that green light that came outside of that mountain? Now, for Bruce, he learns that in this small town, a lot of people are dying randomly. And the thing is, nobody knows what exactly is killing off all these people. And so you have Bruce go to a nearby bar to get some information. Now, when he does, we do learn from the bartender and the guy at the bar that what is happening is some kind of chain effect. Now, for the guy, he believes it's all about grief. And technically, he's right, but at the same time, he's wrong. Let me explain. You see, if somebody dies in a small town, they have to be buried. And usually it's done by your relatives. But apparently, right after somebody dies and they get buried, then their relatives also get sick. And the chain continues on. Like I said, though, it's all about grief because when someone dies, occasionally you go back to the graveyard to pay your respect, talk to their grave. And apparently, when people do that, they also get sick as well. Again, a chain effect. And so for Bruce Banner, he realized he has to go over to the graveyard to figure out what in the world is going on here. And so you have Bruce Banner go over to the actual graveyard, the cemetery, to kind of figure out what exactly is going on here. Now, he also learned that it all began with one young boy, a young boy who was the prom king, the star quarterback. Like, he was almost everything for this small town. But apparently, he died, and they never actually knew what exactly happened to him. And so you have Bruce go over to his grave. And when he gets there, he realized that there is a lot of gamma radiation just popping out of this grave. And so for Bruce, he begins to freak out because now he realized what is happening. The young boy most likely died from some kind of gamma radiation. But on top of that, all that gamma radiation was just feeding out into the entire area. So when people just walked by, they were being affected by the radiation and then also getting sick and dying. And so you have Bruce had to call in people to actually deal with it. Now, at first, they're kind of like, dude, we don't believe you. Matter of fact, what's your name? But he realized that if he wants to get help down here in this small town, he needs to say, my name is Bruce Banner. I am the Hulk, and I'm telling you right now, this entire area, the cemetery, is full of gamma radiation. Now, for Bruce Banner, let's not forget, when he came into this town, he saw a green light coming from the mountain. And he was all like, that's weird. I wonder what in the world is going on with that green light. And so for Bruce, he begins to climb the mountain and go into that cave where the green light came from. Except when he gets inside, he's confronted by a character known as Dr. Fry. Now, we're going to talk more about Dr. Fry here in a moment, but you have Dr. Fry trying to kill off Bruce Banner because he's trying to hide the fact that he's hiding out in this cave. Now, by looking at Dr. Fry, we can tell that he is full of gamma radiation. But while trying to kill off Bruce Banner, well, Bruce turns into the Hulk. And for the Hulk, the whole idea of gamma radiation does not truly affect him at all. And so you have Bruce say, hey, Dr. Fry, I want to know the full story of what's happening in this town because I realize it all started because of you. So we learned that for Dr. Fry, he hated the idea of death. The whole idea that death is something you really cannot avoid. And so his main goal was to find a way to give people immortality. Now, the only reason why he was doing this because of his wife. His wife died, and he wanted to make sure that his son could also stay alive as well because son was going into be a pro in football. And so he realized that the whole story or the whole idea of gamma radiation could be the key to save his life and his son's life, to give them immortality. Now, at first, he began to test on himself, and he didn't see any kind of side effects at all, except when he tried to give to his son instead, his son died in a few minutes. Now, before his son had died, he begins to talk about a green door. Now, the green door is going to be very important for the Immortal Hulk and also the sequel series as well. But for right now, it's the son just yelling out, the green door. I can see it. And somebody is looking through it. It's below us all. And then his son dies just like that. Now, for Dr. Fry, he begins to freak out, but he was able to actually cover up the idea of what happened to his son before word got out that he basically was the one who killed off his son. But then over time, he began to change as well. And so you didn't have Hulk say, don't you realize what you did? Like, you're the reason why your son's in the grave. You're the reason why other people are currently in the grave. You're the reason why you're beginning to change. You were so afraid of death that now you are death. You are literally killing off people left and right. And so you have the Hulk just go out of his way, break off the arms and legs of Dr. Fry so that he won't be able to crawl his way out. But you have the Hulk put this man in a grave in the cave, but also closing up the cave as well to make sure that nobody, I mean nobody, can find Dr. Fry and be killed off by him. Then, when you have the EPA team arrive to do the whole idea of gamma radiation, when they open up the grave of Dell, the son of Dr. Fry, they realize that he's alive. Like, he didn't technically die. He's alive again. And really, we're going to see him a lot in other issues down the road when it comes to the Immortal Hulk. But everything is slowly being built up in these first few issues of the Immortal Hulk. Now, the next issue is really more of a callback to an older character better known as Hotshot. Now, Hotshot first appeared back in Incredible Hulk issue number 345. Now, when it came to Hotshot, he has the ability to shoot out energy out of his fingertips. Now, as you can tell, he was also hit with gamma radiation. And the reason why I say this is a callback because when it comes to Hotshot, he was part of the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad was put together by the leader. You see, there was a town in Arizona known as Middletown that was actually hit with a gamma bomb, and only 5,000 people had survived. And of course, you have the leader go out of his way to pick different people who had survived but also gained abilities as well. And so when it came to Hotshot, he was one of those people. Now, the third issue is kind of being told to us by different people who had actually saw the Hulk fighting against Hotshot. And so as we dive into the next chapter, I can really say that we can skip a lot of pages and just go ahead and get to the main point of the chapter, because we do pick up with Hotshot right now holding a priest hostage. And the reason why, because again, something happened to his girlfriend Jailbait. And so we're left to believe that she has been possessed by some kind of demon, some kind of devil. And he came over to the priest, hoping the priest could basically free his girlfriend from the hold of the demon. But the problem was the priest did not want to leave at all. And so currently he's holding up the entire church until the priest leaves with him to help out Jailbait, his girlfriend. And so with them being, taking a hostage, you have the police involved right now trying to make a deal. Now the Hulk, he was nearby, but when the Hulk appears, Hotshot freaks out. He calls the Hulk the devil himself. Now, before the Hulk appeared, you have Hotshot also mentioning the whole idea of the green door. This green door is once again coming up. But he then tells the Hulk that you are the devil himself. You are the one below all. You are the shadow I see in my dreams. Now, you do have Hotshot try to kill off the Hulk, and you actually see Hotshot blow a hole right through the Hulk's chest. But that hole, it heals up. And then you have the Hulk take care of Hotshot and throwing him into prison. But let's not forget about Jailbait here, because we did learn that something happened to her. And so we jump over to a motel that they were staying at. And when the priest and the police arrived at that motel, they found Jailbait, but she is dead. But apparently for Hotshot, he had to restrain her to a chair. Whatever did possess her, it freaked him out. He had no choice but to go ahead and tie her up. But on the wall, they see green door written on the wall. But on top of that, her head is completely turned around. But there is a peaceful smile. And it kind of shows that this is getting creepier and creepier by the minute. And so now we get into the actual ending for today's video. And so we pick back up with Jackie McGee. Now, when we do, it's really more of Jackie just being tired of the whole idea of interviewing all those different people who were actually there at the scene of the battle between the Hulk and Hotshot, but do not want to confirm they actually saw the Hulk. And remember, the public does not know that the Hulk is actually alive. And so with those people not really trying to work with her, unfortunately, she can't go and say, hey guys, the Hulk is back. But then she gets a phone call. And that would be from good old Walter Lankowski. Now, Walter Lankowski was part of Alpha Flight, but also he's better known as a Sasquatch. Now, apparently, he's calling up Jackie to hopefully help her and to help himself to find the Hulk. He needs to find the Hulk for a special reason. And that reason is what we are going to talk about in our next video. But this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. Also, if you have any suggestions on books I should read, well, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.